Hey guys, it's Harley back again. We are still in the middle of March and I'm about to rank the top horror movies that I watched in February of 2022. Now, this isn't the top movies that were released in February. These are just the movies that I happened to see in the month of February. I was one short, man. I was so close. This is going to be the top 19. Not the top 20, which that would have made too much sense, but this is going to be the top 19. I've actually watched more horror movies than 19 the month of February, but I watched all the Scream movies, I watched all the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. Since I'm going to be doing a separate ranking for the Scream movies and for the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, I just decided to completely leave them off this list, so you'll be able to check out those franchise rankings eventually here. But altogether, I actually watched 32 horror movies in the month of February, which is a substantial amount more than I watched in January, where I ended up with, well, grand total of 13, but I do have a ranking of my top 9 horror movies that I watched in January out there. I'm always one short. It was either, I couldn't do a top 10 list of January, I had to do a top 9. Can't do a top 20 for February, I got to do a top 19. So I'm always just one short. But hey, let's go ahead and get into it. We've got 19 movies to cover, and I don't want to take up way too much of your time, so we're just going to kind of fly through some of these ones at the bottom of the list. I'm just going to kind of gloss over because I don't really have a whole lot to say about them. A lot of them are forgettable. That's why they're at the bottom tier of the list here. But number 19, we've got The House. That's the new stop motion animation movie to come out. The House, it may not be bad for some. Definitely those that like stop motion. I wasn't a big fan of like Fantastic Mr. Fox or anything like that. This movie just really wasn't my bag. I had to watch it at intervals. I couldn't sit down and watch it in one sitting. I just had to keep going back to it and kind of muscle my way through. It just wasn't speaking to me whatsoever. I can say the animation, the felt, everything that they put into it, I could see the hard work that was put into it. And I could see where people, if they enjoy stop motion animation, this is definitely going to be your cup of tea. It just wasn't mine, but I could definitely see the work that they put into this one. Number 18, we've got the Canadian horror movie Flee the Light, directed by Alexandra Senza, and it's one of those sisters versus ancient creature kind of movie, and we'll just kind of leave it there. Flee the Light, fairly unspectacular. It's kind of clunky dialogue. It's not very thrilling in the visual department. It really just was kind of forgettable. There's not a whole lot I can really say about it. I didn't feel like there was a whole lot of passion put into this project, and I expected more because I do like witches, and we just don't generally have enough good witch movies out there. But the dialogue, the characters of this one, it just really held it down. Flee the Light, very forgettable. Number 17, we've got the Mad Hatter. Yeah, we're just going to keep flying through these because there's just not a lot to talk about. This is another forgettable movie. This movie dragged. It dragged and it dragged, and I was bored, and it dragged, and I was bored some more, and yeah, I was just waiting for the credits to roll. Nothing really happens in this movie at all. The direction of it's bad. I thought the plot was slow. Like I said, it's boring. It's like a standstill, slow plot. It's just terrible. The characters forgettable. Credits rolled on this one, and I was actually happy. I'm like, thank God this movie's over. So yeah, Mad Hatter, number 17. Forgettable. You can easily pass on that one. Number 16, we've got The Hunting. Werewolf movie released this year, and yeah, this one's pretty damn terrible too. I'm a big pro wrestling fan, as you'll see me kind of talk about wrestling a little bit in some of the videos. My one takeaway on this movie is this Peyton Hillis guy is just freaking huge. He's a monster, and he should probably be a pro wrestler. I think he's got a better future in that. He should really look into that. I called the ending within the first few minutes of the movie, so I spent the rest of the time just hoping that maybe I was wrong and they're going to take a hard left and surprise the hell out of me and knock me on my ass with this reveal I didn't see coming. Nope, this was straight by the numbers. No surprises, no standouts. Yeah, paint by numbers movie, very predictable, and this would be another pass for me. I spent most of the time just getting lost in my own imagination thinking, hey, well, if Peyton Hillis fought Dave Bautista or if he fought Dwayne Johnson. I wonder who would fight or who would win. I mean, yeah. That's about all. That was my only takeaway in the whole thing. So, yeah, pass on this one. Number 15 is going to be War Hunt with the big picture of Mickey Rourke on the front. But he's not in a ton of the movie. It's just more, I think this was a cash grab for him. I'll give him credit for it. He didn't pull the Bruce Willis routine of only showing up on camera for a couple minutes and taking the head tagline. He was actually very involved in the third act. But he was anything but the main star on here. I mean, he's put on the cover literally just to have his name out there to kind of sell more copies of this, I guess. And geez, it got me thinking when I was watching War Hunt is what has actually happened to Mickey Rourke's career? I don't really know. He was in The Wrestler and he showed up in The Expendables. But yeah, I mean, he was fantastic in The Wrestler. I mean, they're talking Oscar buzz and everything. He was great in that, and then he was great in The Expendables. And then from there, I thought we were going to get a second revival of his career, and well, it just didn't happen, I guess. I don't know. Am I missing something? Is there something in his recent filmography that you guys can recommend for me to check out? Because War Hunt wasn't going to be the one. It's not the Mickey Rourke flick of the year. So, yeah, if there's anything that you could think of for Mickey Rourke that I need to check out that he's done recently, just let me know. I'll go ahead and watch it because I'd like to see this guy succeed. I really would. Number 14, we've got Death Valley. And we're just going to keep trucking along at a super quick pace. This one rates actually a little bit higher than the other ones, and that's based off of the creature design of this one. I thought the creature design was really well done. This one actually feels kind of like a Resident Evil stylish type movie. It's engaging. It's not really a great movie, but it's doing something that the other movies didn't do that were below on this list. And that was entertain me. That's all I can ask for. If this movie would have had better characters and better dialogue, this actually would have been a really, really good movie and probably would have ranked a lot higher up on the list. So where it does succeed in some of the facets, it does fall short in the others. But it is definitely worth checking out just for a really cool creature design on it. So yeah, Death Valley just recommended just on that merit alone. Number 13, we got The Privilege. Is this lucky number 13 or is this unlucky? I don't know because this movie, not great. It tries. It really does. It has a twist in the middle of the movie, but I don't know. I guess the movie was just so confusing to me at points that when the twist happens, I wasn't really invested. But I did rate this higher than Death Valley because I do think it is a better made movie. But I don't know what the hell it was about. I mean, I just got fungus, parasites, stuff like that. But other than that, I really can't remember a damn thing about this. So yeah, forgettable movie, number 13, that's going to be The Privilege. Now, number 12. Number 12 is going to be My Bloody Valentine from 1981. Which I was going to be doing a My Bloody Valentine ranking thing for Valentine's Day this year. Now, as you can see, it is month of March. It's actually St. Patrick's Day today is when I'm recording this. So I just decided to skip that video altogether and just put it in this list. And like I said, that's My Bloody Valentine from 1981. And believe it or not, it's my first time ever watching the movie. I didn't see it growing up like a lot of people have. So I think if I would have saw it while I was growing up, I might have held this one at a little bit higher of a regard. Fortunately, I just really didn't care for the actors in it. Some of the kills were okay. The showerhead scene, I do say that is iconic. I like the showerhead scene with the blood spraying out the mouth. And yeah, that was pretty good. But maybe it's just I had unrealistic expectations. Just because I've heard about the movie for so long. I guess my expectations just weren't met on this one, and it really just came down to the characters. I thought that created the fault for it. But yeah, well, maybe next year I'll go ahead. I'll watch this one again. Try to get ready for Valentine's Day 2023. So next year. So we may revisit this one next year, and maybe it'll hold a little bit higher regard for me. Speaking of classics I've never got around to seeing, number 11 is Motel Hell. And this is another movie I've heard about for ages. Finally got around to it. It's from the year 1980. It's directed by Kevin Costner. Looking at Kevin Conner's filmography, I realize I just haven't seen a lot of his other movies. I guess he's had things like Beyond the Grave, The Land That Time Forgot, At the Earth's Core, The People That Time Forgot. I mean, the covers on all those movies look really interesting to me. So are any of them, I guess, worth checking out? That's something, hey guys, go ahead and drop a comment below if you've seen any of those movies. Are they recommendable? Should I check them out? So back to Motel Hell though, but I knew this one kind of played as a dark comedy. A lot of the movie did not, unfortunately, land for me. So I guess it's the same thing with the original My Bloody Valentine. I think I was just overhyped. I heard about it for so long, people talked about it for so long, and then maybe if I had grown up watching this movie, I might have a different perspective for it. But watching it for the very first time in 2022, after about 30 years of watching horror movies, it didn't have that impact. Now, the man wearing the pig head, that's always an unsettling visual for me. And the ending sequence with the dueling chainsaws I thought was pretty fun. And there was definitely one standout character for me in this one. And that one is Nancy Parsons, from Porky's, and her portrayal of Ida. I thought she owned the role of Ida. It's just, she ate up the scenery every time she was on. That was my takeaway from Motel Hell, is that Nancy Parsons was aces. But maybe I just didn't get the hype on the whole thing. Maybe I'll revisit this movie somewhere again down the line. Maybe on a second viewing, maybe it'll be a little bit better. But yeah, for a first viewing in the year 2022, kind of failed for me, unfortunately. So we are in the top 10. Top 10 is going to be Slapface. This one was actually kind of entertaining. It's not great, but it's probably a movie I'm not going to remember too much about at the end of the year. But it was fun for what it was when I was watching it. Basically, you got a couple brothers that slap the crap out of each other. I guess it's their way of dealing with grief and stuff. But yeah, they kind of slap each other. It's probably not the healthiest of coping mechanisms, but what is. I like the design of the witch that the kid befriends in the movie, so that was kind of neat. Really, this movie does shine a lot of light on bullying and all that. Those twins were pieces of garbage in this movie, so it does get a message across about bullying, I should say. This one, guys, I do recommend it. I do say check this one out if you haven't seen it. It's not spectacular by any means, but I do really think you'll find some kind of enjoyment in it. So once again, number 10, Slapface. We are going into number 9. Number 9 is going to be Shut In. It's directed by DJ Caruso. Also directed Disturbia. I Am Number 4, Eagle Eye, one of the Triple X movies, and others. So I did have slightly higher expectations for this one. Basically, on this one, this woman gets shut into a pantry and locked in by her abusive ex, and her kids are inside the house, basically on the other side of the door, and they can't get to each other. I think this is where the movie was so frustrating for me. The woman took a nap for a while in this pantry. I would have been doing everything I could have done to break the door down, break through the ceilings, break through the wall. Her response to the whole situation, it didn't make sense. Because I've got kids and I know exactly what I would have done to try to get out of that room. And she does eventually get out of that room. So maybe not take a nap next time, woman, and go take care of your kids. So, yeah, her response kind of shut that one down. But overall, the movie was tense. It was fun. It's just, I guess I had to turn my brain off for the whole premise of it, of her not getting out and everything. Check this one out, though. It is an interesting, fun movie. Number 8, we've got Block Island Sound. This one plays a little bit more as a psychological thriller than a horror movie. I love the location of the movie. I really got into the setting of Block Island. I might not have been a huge fan of the storyline, but the film itself, it's competently made. Characters, they're not too bad either, but really the setting was aces in this one. It's a slow burn movie, and I can get into slow burn movies. Sometimes I can't. The payoff has got to be good if you're going to go slow burn. And unfortunately, I think with this one, the payoff wasn't very good. My ADHD is going crazy as far as trying to keep up because it's such a slow pace. There's just nothing that got the adrenaline running or the reaction out of me that I think they wanted to get at the end of the movie. It was too slow to get the where they're going, and then the ending didn't stick. So, but it is competently made. This made by these McManus guys. I'd like to see what else they've got in store. So I'd be checking out the next movies that they do. The location on this one, the setting, that was the best part of Block Island Sound. Number 7, we have got. I hate snakes more than anything in the world. It's probably my biggest fear is snakes. But I checked it out anyways. More balls and brains. But that movie is Medusa. And you know what? The movie actually isn't half bad. I really thought this movie was going to be terrible. Because I got a fear of snakes. For some reason, I always tend to try to watch snake movies. It's like a challenge to myself. And most snake movies really end up being kind of bad. And this one, it's not a great movie, but it did exceed my expectations. Now, this is a Brazilian horror movie. I'm not too familiar with a lot of films that have come out of Brazil, so this was kind of a new territory for me. Director is Anita Roca de Silveira. Probably butchered that name too. I'm not good with names, but I think she did a really good job with the direction of the movie. I ended up having a good time with it. It's a good update of the Medusa mythology. It's never going to be a blow-away awesome movie. It's not your big hidden gem that came out in 2021, but it is a fun watch. It's worth checking out. So yeah, number 7 would be Medusa. And number 6, this is a movie where fertilizer turns the residents into zombies, and that one is called Brain Freeze. Now, this one caught me by surprise. It had its thrilling points. For the most part, the comedic parts landed. Damn it, they have a zombie baby. I love zombie babies. This movie isn't on par with like a Shaun of the Dead or anything like that, but it is a lot of fun. This one, I'd actually be interested to hear your guys' thoughts on Brain Freeze. So drop a comment below. Let me know, what did you think about this one? Zombie babies. Check Brain Freeze out just for zombie babies. Number 5, 1977, first time watch for me. I heard this movie was batshit crazy, and people weren't lying. This is what the hell did I just watch, and that's kind of in a good way. So, number 5 is House from 1977. The character names are just strange to begin with. We've got Gorgeous, and Fantasy, and Kung Fu, and Sweet, plus others. And they all go to visit Gorgeous's aunt in an old house. This is a movie like none other that I have ever seen. Literally. I've never seen a movie quite like this. I can't even really explain it or give it any kind of justice with an explanation. This is just a film that you need to experience. And I believe it's still on HBO Max if you need to see it and you've never seen it before. This movie's not for everyone. I'm not even sure it was for me. It's mesmerizing, though. The visuals are mesmerizing. I had no idea what was going to happen next. I had no idea what was going on at times. I mean, I'm watching, I'm like, did she just get eaten by a piano? Did that just happen? It's bonkers. This movie's like an acid trip almost. This is the epitome of strange, unique, crazy movies. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it just for the damn experience of it all. This is going to be a film I don't think you'll forget after watching it. It is definitely that unique of a experience. Now, number 4. God, I love this movie so much more than I probably have any right to. And that is Full Moon's Baby Oopsie, a satanic baby doll. What's not to love? I'll be honest, I'm familiar with a lot of the Full Moon movies by name recognition alone. I've seen bits of Evil Bong and Ginger Dead Man, I should say. So I think after watching Baby Oopsie here, I think I just need to take the plunge. And I know that a lot of these are on Tubi TV, but really need to take the plunge into the Full Moon Features movies. And just to see more movies like Baby UFC, because I laughed throughout this whole thing. I thought it was ridiculously awesome. It's so self-aware of how ridiculous it is. But yeah, give me more. I want to see Demonic Toys next. I need to see all these full moon movies. Guys, if you're a full moon features fan, like I said, I have not really totally dipped my toes in the waters yet. Drop a comment below. Give me some recommendations out of Full Moon, because I will definitely put that at the top of my watch list to see some of these movies after watching Baby Upsy. So if you can't tell, yeah, Baby Upsy, very recommended to y'all. Number 3. This one has divided the horror community, but hey, I rank it high. I liked it, and that is the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre from this year. I get it. I get what people did not care for the movie. I'm going to do probably a standalone deep dive into this, so I don't want to go too much in. I'm going to avoid the spoilers in this one. There is character flaws. There's plot holes. There's a lot wrong with the movie, and I know some people just can't get past some of that. I could, because they gave me Carnage candy, and they gave me Carnage candy galore. And it is, yeah, it was amazing. I'm a forgiving person of the Texas Chainsaw franchise. You'll get a franchise ranking soon out of me. You'll see that I even like Next Generation. I grew up with Leatherface as being one of my favorite horror villains. So even though the movies themselves might not always be great, I always find enjoyment out of it. I don't know if I could pick Leatherface as being my favorite movie villain of all time. Maybe that's a video I should do eventually, ranking down like the top 10 horror villains or something like that. Leatherface will rank up towards the top for me. But something about him is just crazy. Everybody's going to have an opinion of this movie. And like I said, I know it's divided. Mine is of high regard of it. I do recommend going and check out Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022 on Netflix. I did like the movie. In fact, actually, I love the movie. I'll be going back to watching this one again. It was fun. So, yeah, highly recommended for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Now, number 2. I got around. I got to see the new Scream. Scream 5, Scream 2022, whatever you want to call it. I did watch all the Scream movies this month. So I'm not going to get into too much detail on my thoughts of Scream 5, other than more of a recommendation, because I really want to give you guys that franchise ranking. But even just before this month, just to kind of put things in perspective, I'd seen Scream 1 and I've seen Scream 2. I might have seen Scream 3 and 4 before, but I didn't remember a damn thing about them. So a lot of this felt like brand new watching for me. And then, of course, everything led into Scream 5 for me. General consensus of the Scream movie is that it looks like a lot of people find it to be pretty good. It's a positive response. It has every right to be. This is a damn good movie. Has, some brutal kills in it. Nothing was really over the top, but it did have good kills. The acting was great. I got into the new characters as well as the legacy characters. It's a great movie, and it's going to be one of the top ones for this year when I do a year-end ranking, I'm sure. The movie works, and it edges out Texas Chainsaw for me, but just by a little. And it's just because, honestly, Scream has a much tighter, neater movie than what Texas was. Didn't have all the glaring plot things that Texas Chainsaw had. Scream is just a better made movie, so that does get the nudge a little bit above Texas Chainsaw. I do highly recommend it if you haven't seen it. I highly recommend going in through all the Scream movies if you haven't seen them in a while. It was a fun franchise to go through. So, yeah. Hopefully shortly you guys will be able to check out my Scream franchise ranking. But look at the gold medal for the month of February. We've gone through 18 other movies to get here. A lot of bad movies. But number 1. It's strange because I rated that original so low. But my number 1 is going to be the remake of My Bloody Valentine, and that came out in 2009. I had never seen it before. This was a first time watch. And it is such leaps and bounds better than the original for me. The campiness, the violence is amped up so much. There's just so much to like about this movie. Characters held the film down in the original. I explained that earlier. I didn't feel that as much in this one. I thought the characters were a little bit better in this remake. This would have been fun to see in 3D. Just some of those kills. Unfortunately, I didn't get to do it. But yeah, I was late to the game on this one. But it is mandatory February viewing for me every year now. This movie definitely be mandatory film viewing for me. I had a blast. I think you will too, especially if you haven't seen it. I'm sure a lot of you guys probably got around to seeing it actually last month. But if you happen to miss the boat and you're watching this video and you're like, damn it, I've never seen My Bloody Valentine remake, go ahead and pop it on. It's totally worth it. So yeah, drop a comment below. What do you guys think about the original and the remake of My Bloody Valentine and how they match up to each other? But yeah, highly recommended on that. So there you have it. That's the top 19 horror movies I watched in the month of February. There's definitely some gems out there in the horror genre. I consume pretty much all the content that comes out. I watch a ridiculous amount of movies. So right now I feel like horror is in a small rut. It's not a huge one. We still got a lot of great movies coming out, but yeah, it's the beginning of the year and it's dump month, so a lot of the content that comes out isn't exactly spectacular. I think we've gotten lucky so far with the Scream and Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So, but I'm gonna try to do some dives into some previous years too, some horror movies I haven't seen before. So some months going ahead, you're gonna see some of those classics that maybe I haven't seen or haven't seen in a while. So the list may end up being a little bit more interesting than some of the movies that have been coming out, like say this year, and that were at the bottom of this list. Guys, brand new channel here. If you like the content here, you want to see more, go ahead and hit that like button. Leave some comments below. If you guys got any suggestions of movies I need to see or anything, go ahead and email me at harleyfunkmovies@gmail.com or leave a comment below. I try to talk to everybody that does talk to me. And subscribe. Yeah, I want to build this as a horror community here. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, I've got a lot of content coming up. I plan on having this be a very active channel. So yeah, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and join me on this journey through YouTube as I'm kind of still getting my feet wet out here. But thanks for stopping by, guys, and we'll see you next time.